at the Disney movies with the hearts.
I'm Kelly.
I'm David.
This is the bonus
update episode.
Yeah, the second bonus episode. It's kind of hard to believe we've already recorded that many episodes.
Yeah, I mean, it's, I don't know if I'd consider it a bonus. It's an update. It's every 10 episodes. We kind of go over what we've done, what we've seen, what we changed, blah, blah, blah. It's just kind of a little spitballing back and forth between you and us.
Yeah, the first time we did this, we'd only watched 10 movies, and I mean, it was just purely based on the rankings in terms of, like, where they all fell in those 10 slots. But now it's really, like, our list, I think, has diversified a little bit because our ratings definitely were different. And so some of the movies that were on the first top 10 are not on there anymore.
Well, definitely. And, I mean, they're going to diversify as we go. They're still pretty close.
I don't know. Go ahead and read your top 10.
My top 10 goes Toy Story, Swiss Family Robinson, The Princess Diaries, Coco, The Lone Ranger, Dumbo, Adventures of Bullwhip Griffin, Inspector Gadget, Emperor's New Groove, and Night Crossing. Ugh.
So, my top 10 go Toy Story, The Emperor's New Groove, Ralph Breaks the Internet, The Princess Diaries, Frankenweenie, Night Crossing, Coco, The Lone Ranger, Swiss Family Robinson, and Dumbo.
So, I have a huge problem with my top 10.
Why is that?
Because Coco and Dumbo do not belong. Like, it was just such an error rating either of those movies as high as I did.
So what would you replace them with?
So, I mean, I would replace them with the bottom. I mean, it would have Tonka and Ralph Breaks the Internet move up into the top 10.
Gotcha.
Because, yeah, then my list would look correct if I knocked those two out and moved the others down and up.
Okay. I think the only one that I don't think that Frankenweenie or Dumbo would be in my top 10. I think I would replace them probably actually with Herbie Goes Bananas and Oliver and Company.
That's fair.
I think I really was too hard on Herbie Goes Bananas because that was, our third episode, right?
Fourth. It was a bad movie. It is a bad movie.
But it is,
but it's
like,
so funny.
But, like, I enjoyed it so much. Like, I think... So, like, I was thinking about this before we started recording. My favorite, I think, bad scene, like, that when I think about it just fills me with laughter, is the whole end of Herbie Goes Bananas with the airplane.
It is
when they're,
so
like,
dumb and so
the
bad.
car is, like...
But it's so funny.
Yeah, no, that's the best.
And personally, I think I was too hard on Oliver and Company. It would be just outside the top 10. I just feel like...
Yeah?
I was probably tired and drunk.
Correct, sir.
And it wasn't as bad as I said it was. I mean, it's still bad, but it's not that bad.
Yeah. But our bottom three is the same, and they're in the same order.
Oh, the bottom three is super clear.
Yes.
Crystal clear, because these are all three horrible movies that I wish I had never seen.
So what are the bottom three?
The bottom three are Return to Neverland, Santa Claus 3, The Escape Clause, and The Vile Planes.
So it's funny because when we watched the Santa Claus 3, we're like, nothing's ever going to be worse than this. And I mean, Return to Neverland was pretty close, and then Planes was just way worse. And so there's probably, I mean, at some point, Santa Claus 3 might not even be in the bottom 10 at some point.
I actually don't have a hard time believing that or even saying that. Like, I know I was like, oh my god, at the time. It was kind of close to Christmas when we watched it, and it was the worst movie we had seen up to that point.
Yeah.
But boy, does it get worse. Like, I know that there will be movies as bad as Planes, but there won't be worse.
Yeah. And then, like, looking at the Rotten Tomatoes rankings as well versus everything, I was just really surprised that I guess they ranked, well, The Lone Ranger and Inspector Gadget as low as they did, because Inspector Gadget is in the bottom three out of all of those.
I'm not surprised by that. I think that you and I really are in the minority with Gadget. And I can see why, but it's kind of silly. Like, the movie's good because it has good actors that do a good job. Like,
The biggest surprise actually reviewing this on the Rotten Tomatoes thing was, for me, The Princess Diaries, that the critics score, that it was so low.
yeah.
When we both liked it quite a bit. And I think actually looking at my list, aside from Toy Story, that might be my favorite movie that we've watched. Because I love that movie.
Yeah, but I mean, that's a very personal thing for you, I think.
It is.
But it is a very good movie. The Rotten Tomatoes score is ludicrous for that movie.
I
I don't get it.
But, I mean, and Rotten Tomatoes typically rates things a little higher than we do. Like, their average score of all these movies is 62%.
Yeah, which is weird, although I think the one thing that gives it that bump is that some of the older movies we have reviewed don't have critic scores, which I feel like could lower them significantly. Like, think about if Tonka had a critic score, it would probably be like in the 20s.
Yeah, but I mean, we still took in what scores were available and still...
Right,
yeah.
the people's score, yeah, sure.
But I mean, and you definitely are the toughest critic.
No doubt. I mean, I saw the fewest of these as a child. I am kind of a curmudgeon. Yeah, there's no doubt going in that I was going to be the toughest critic.
But it's not actually, like, when I was actually surprised that our average scores weren't that far apart. Like, your average score is 50% and my average score is 55%.
Yeah.
So it's not that much of a discrepancy. I was expecting a bigger discrepancy in our average score.
So have I. But there's been a few movies that I've liked quite a bit more than you. Tonka being one.
Well, I mean, that's just... I don't really know how to help you with that.
Tonka Wakan.
Yeah, I can't do it. It's just was so boring and just so bizarre. I don't know, just not my thing.
I'm all about that Captain Keo.
Solid-looking animal you're riding, Captain.
Thank you, sir. Not as handsome as your Vic or Dandy, General, but all heart and legs. Give him an extra ration of oats and boom, he's ready to go again.
What about you?
Give me a bag of oats, sir, and I'm ready too.
Good.
Yeah, I know you are. Out of all the movies we've watched, what do you think is the one that surprised you the most, whether it was good or bad?
Oh, Princess Diaries.
Really?
I was prepared to think that was going to be a rotten pile of garbage, and it was really good. Or at least a 4 chicks only rotten pile of garbage. And it was a good movie. I really liked it.
I'm really glad you liked it too.
Yeah.
Because I love that
What about
movie.
you? What was your biggest...
I mean, I think my biggest surprise of how much I liked it was probably The Lone Ranger.
Oh, yeah. I guess both
Just
of us
because I was
should
going
really
in
admit
expecting
that.
to hate it, but also I think my genuinely biggest surprise was that Night Crossing movie, because I had never heard of it. I was just expecting it to be some like stupid Monkey's Uncle type live action movie, and like I genuinely really liked that movie.
I can't say I was surprised because I had no idea what it was. And then in the first 5 minutes finding out what it was, like, oh, this is not going to surprise me if I like it. Like,
I don't know. I was really surprised just how much it kept my interest and how I was really felt emotionally involved in the story.
so I know we kind of touched on this before, but what is your biggest opinion change?
I don't think it's really changed from last time. I just don't think I would have rated... I rated Frankenweenie originally in 84.
Oh man, that looks bad now.
I think now, looking back, I would have rated it more in like the 50% range.
And
like
see-
more in line with like Winnie the Pooh. That's probably where I would have rated it more.
And I feel the same way about Coco. Like, I would have knocked Coco way further
So
down.
I wouldn't have. Like, I mean, I still can acknowledge that it's a good movie. I mean, 78% for me still feels about right for that.
I think I would knock it more into the 60s, I guess. Because it is good. And, I mean, maybe it's just unfair because it's the first movie we watched, but
Yeah.
it definitely wasn't one of the best movies we've watched. And that's where I'm like, I don't know. Because the movies
Yeah.
I like a lot more than that.
And it's hard because that movie, everyone is like, oh, this is one of the greatest achievements, and like it's like the best movie ever, basically, for Disney and Pixar. Like they
See,
keep
and
saying,
I just can't get down with that.
and I just don't. I just feel like it's overrated for what it is.
Yeah.
Which
big
we kind of
time.
already talked
Big
about.
Time, big time. And we didn't have the same, like, kind of set criteria going in of, like, really analytically looking at these. And I think if I would have had that and kind of used that information going in, I would have given it a much lower score.
Yeah, I can see that. That's probably true. So wait, what is your favorite scene? Like, bad scene from all these movies?
My favorite bad scene
Or
from
best
all
scene,
these
just any
movies?
scenes that you recall that you like, or you just, or like, that was ridiculous.
I think the whole burial scene, even though it's like 30 minutes of the Lone Ranger, I love.
Oh, where like he's talking to the horse and he comes
Talking
up.
to the horse, there's some poop, the dude wakes up on the tower. That whole chunk of that movie is really pretty funny.
Yeah, no, I'll agree with that. That's pretty good. Anything else? Like scenes, like any other scenes that stick out to you?
I love the Larry Miller scene in The Princess Diaries. I mean, that's not fair because it has Larry Miller in it.
I can't think. From Emperor's New Groove.
Oh, the restaurant scene. Is,
Yeah.
You know what? Yeah, I'm glad you reminded me of that. That's actually probably the best scene in total, and I can't believe I forgot about it, but it's hard to keep track of all these. That is the best scene.
It is.
Sorry.
It is really hard to keep track of them. Yeah, and like just looking back, like when we watched like even Swiss Family Robinson, like that's a really good movie.
Right, and I can barely remember.
Do you have a favorite villain from all these movies or bad guy?
Oh, you love asking the villain
I do.
question.
Like I like villains. What can I say?
So we've had fewer villains since Coco. I mean,
Yeah.
we've had a lot of no villain
So
movies.
a lot of these movies in the top 20 are not your, when you think of like a quote Disney movie, they're not, you're like, most of them are not the traditional Disney movie formula.
No.
Like really the only one that's like on here that's considered a quote classic Disney movie is Dumbo.
Which is, if you look at it, is not a classic Disney movie at all.
No, I mean, we've definitely watched, yeah, no, so
I mean, the best villain is Yzma.
I would agree in terms of like the
But
best
she's
character.
barely a villain.
Exactly. I think that so that's what I wrote down, but also like she's like the best character villain, but the best like I think creepy like bad guy villain is Sykes from Oliver and Company.
Yeah, he's pretty bad.
Like he's pretty bad.
I would also go with the Nazi-ish East German SS guy in Night Crossing.
Well, I mean,
he was pretty bad.
Yeah, they're Nazis. They're literally evil.
They weren't Nazis; they were communists. But that dude was pretty bad. Like he
Well,
was scary as hell.
Yeah, no, that's fair.
Or even the cop in Night Crossing was pretty scary. Like
Yeah. No, I would say that's true.
What was your most compelling moment in any of these movies?
What do you mean by compelling moment?
Like, what is like the scene that's like, whoa,
Whoa, like, do you mean like intense or like
just whatever's most compelling to you, whatever brings you out the most? What's sticking out to you?
That's a good question. I think I actually, maybe because it's recent, but I really enjoy the end of The Princess Diaries.
So, you know what's really funny is I'm going to have the same recency bias. But I'm going to go with the whole paparazzi scene from The Princess Diaries.
Where she goes up to the school or the one on the beach?
The beach. It's a really funny scene that you're not going to find in any other movie. That's a good scene. The whole beach scene is really good.
No, it is good.
Yeah.
That surprises me. You didn't really say much about it when we were watching the movie.
I didn't, but thinking back, I'm like, oh. I mean, obviously, there's also the New Groove restaurant scene, which is great.
Yeah.
But as far as something that you're just not going to really see again, the paparazzi scene in Princess Diaries is pretty cool. Like, I got to admit.
And then other than that, I think in Night Crossing when they were inflating the balloon.
Yeah, you're really into that scene.
I am. Like, I don't know why. Like, I just really...
Yeah.
I don't know. I really liked it. Oh, well, okay. let's be real. The princess scene in Ralph Breaks the Internet. I mean, come on.
Oh, yeah, we have totally underplayed that. That comes really
Oh,
close.
no. And the racing scene from Ralph Breaks the Internet.
Yeah.
That was pretty good, too.
Ralph Breaks the Internet, the ending is so unfortunate.
I know, it really does ruin it.
It is.
Yeah.
Ugh.
It really ruins it.
The first, like, 3/4 of the movie is so good, and then it just falls apart so badly.
We rated, I mean, Toy Story is the only movie we rated in the 90s. Would you still give it that high of a rating?
Oh, yeah, and I don't think any of the other movies should go that high.
Well, we'll see. I mean, we still have...
No, I mean of what we've seen. Like,
oh,
nothing
yeah,
else
no.
touches that. Yeah.
No, nothing that we've seen.
The 90s needs to really...
I feel like to be...
You've got to really jump high to touch that.
Yeah, like, to be in the 90s, you have to have a good story, you have to have a good villain, you have to have a good, like, acting or voice acting, you have to have good cinematography or animation. Like, everything has to be firing on all cylinders to be in the 90s.
Really, everything has to be on point.
And even, like, if you give something, like, you know, like a 50%, it doesn't mean you don't like the movie. It just means that's in terms of, like the bar, right. That's where it falls.
Like, I gave Ralph Breaks 55. I really like that movie, but it really falls apart at the end, so I can't say that it's better than that. So, I know this is going to be kind of more geared towards me, just because of the question I'm going to ask, but what is your bullwhip of 10 through 20? What is the movie that you were maybe a little too hard on in 10 through 20 that you feel like you really should have rated a lot higher?
Herbie Goes Bananas.
Of 10 through 20.
Oh, wait, of 10 through 20? Oh, that's a good question.
I know what mine is.
Hold on, I'm looking at the...
You can look. I'm going to go ahead and say mine was Oliver and Company. It's still not good, but it's not like as wretched as I said it was. Because the songs are funny. The songs are good. Like, yeah. Like, it's not the second or, like, fifth to worst movie on the list. It's better than Frankenweenie. And it's way better than Winnie the Pooh. Oh, my God.
Yeah,
Do you not have and you may not have a bullwhip of 10 to 20. I mean, that's fine. But that one was mine.
You know, I might rate, looking at the list, I might rate Tonka slightly higher.
It's not as bad of a movie as I think you thought it was.
But maybe it was just, I don't know, I might give it like a 5 to 10 point bump. Like, it might fall in the Inspector Gadget range, maybe.
Yeah, because it was fairly enjoyable.
And
think about if we would have got to see it, like, updated in HD, like it was on actual Disney Plus. It probably would have been pretty cool.
Maybe.
But who knows?
So do you think any of these movies that are in your current top 10 will make it into the very end top 10? Other than Toy Story?
I would hope the Lone Ranger does, but obviously, based on the ratings, it looks like no. Like, just based on the second highest one being 83 with Swiss Family, I cannot see me having 401 movies so far, having 10 of them fall that far down.
Yeah.
Like, there's got to be some movies that I like better than that. And I'm sure there's some that I've seen that I can name right now that I know I like more than this, but I won't.
Yeah. No, I don't know. We'll see. I think Toy Story it'll probably hang in there. But
yeah, and I really should have chose the Lone Ranger also for my bullwhip, even though it's already rated pretty high. Like, I really like that movie.
Yeah, no, it's a great movie.
And even talking about it now, it seems like so long ago that we watched it.
I mean, it was so long ago because we do record these fairly far in advance.
Really far in advance. And
we've already recorded like past 20. I think we've already recorded like 25.
Right. And not only that, but like there are weeks gaps in between us.
Yeah.
Maybe we're recording a cluster of these. So it's hard to remember. Like, it's tough.
It is. Is there anything else with our recap?
What is your biggest surprise with this podcast in general? It could be anything. Could be anything.
Just how easy it is. Like, I guess, like, in terms of, like I want to do it. Like, I don't,
Right.
it's not like it's a chore or
Maybe,
it's like,
maybe how easy it's become.
yeah. And just like that it's like a lot more fun than I thought it was going to be. And it's not really challenging to review these movies like I thought it was going to be.
Right.
Like, I think from like looking at like the first couple episodes to like where it is now, it's just so much easier than it was at first.
Yeah, to me now it seems to be fairly natural.
What about you?
Mine is kind of in the same vein. My biggest surprise is like how much I would like these movies, and yeah, how easy this is to do. I'm surprised that the hardest part is getting engagement outside of this.
What do you mean?
Well, I mean, getting people to subscribe.
Oh, yeah, no, of course. That's always the difficult.
Getting people to engage with us. And I guess that's kind of like, as we wrap this up, that's what I want everybody to do is give us your opinions. Let us know what you think about these movies. Look for us. Send us an email at thedisneymovies@gmail.com.
Yeah, and all the, Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, all the things. We're on all the social media platforms.
Just look for us at the Disney Movies with the Hearts. You can find us. We're there.
Because we do respond to all the things. And we are getting more engagement as we go along. And we are seeing things grow, which is exciting. And we appreciate that.
We would like to see a lot more. And, I mean, we do this for fun. And the more engagement we get, the more fun it is.
Yeah, and we're hoping to, in the future, put out more bonus content.
Yeah, we have a little surprise for bonus content coming up, but we'll discuss that more when it's ready to roll.
Yeah, but it'll be a minute before we put that out there. So.
Yeah, for you guys it'll be a minute. For us it'll be like...
tomorrow.
Yeah, exactly. It'll be the next couple days. But I think you'll like it. If not... I don't know what you're doing.
Yeah. What are you doing with your life? Yeah, I think that's pretty much it. That's all I had.
All right. With that, I'm David.
I'm Kelly.
This has been At the Disney Movies with the Hearts.
Bye! My bad.
My bad, dog.